We are on a family camping trip, and I have, as I mentioned in the last Sweet Vegan Living video, a love-hate, love-hate, love relationship with camping. And I love being in nature. I love the sounds and the smells and the nature of it all. And I love that grounding feeling, and I love getting up to the sound of just little creatures, birds, the rustling leaves in the trees, not the sound of traffic, not the sound of our neighbors power washing their deck, not, all that city stuff. And there's lots of great things about the city, but I really love being out here in nature in the daytime. I'm really scared of bears, and I feel like that's warranted. If you've ever seen a bear, I mean, I would imagine you would understand my discomfort with them. Maybe not. There's some people who are perfectly comfortable with bears. I'm sure there's people who are comfortable with skydiving, so why not bears? But I'm terrified of bears. So I hate the fact that when you're camping, you have to go on this wander into the woods to, go to the bathroom, and I will hold it all night before I go out in the dark because I'm so scared of them. And our dog Tallulah is also petrified of the noises at night for some reason. She's overcome her general anxiety about being in nature, but at nighttime she's on high alert and she growls at any little sound, and then I comfort her and tell her that there's nothing out there, but I'm not even convinced myself, so it's not very convincing. Hey, Tallulah. Anyway, we are camping. There have been no bear sightings so far, and the other thing I can't stand is the bugs. And actually, honestly, this time, they haven't been that bad at all. Usually when we go camping, they harass me persistently, incessantly. I'm stalked by the horseflies and the mosquitoes and anything else that will bite you and suck your blood and leave you covered in welts. And it takes me weeks to... It takes me weeks of scratching and trying not to scratch, and doing everything I can to soothe my welts. And fortunately, so far as I can tell, I haven't been that badly bitten. A little bit, a few mosquitoes here and there, a few horsefly stalking incidents, but I prevailed. I survived. I outran them. The only infestation that we actually seem to be having are chipmunks, and they are so brave. Oh, here comes the rain again. They're so brave here. They're not scared of me at all. They come right up to you. People must feed these little guys because they have no fear whatsoever, or maybe just very, very strong survival skills. Okay, it's starting to pour rain. I need to go find cover again. I love camping. I love it so much. Of course, I love to meal prep for camping. One, just because it's meal prep and I love doing that. But two, because I am doing it with anticipation of cooking on the open fire or on the camp stove out in nature, and I love that so much. What I don't love is that you're kind of limited as to what tools and space and running water you might have access to while you're doing it. So I try and do a lot of the prep in advance. And I try and cook some healthy stuff because we're sure we're going to eat tofu hot dogs or veggie burgers and some kind of junky campsite snacks. So I just try and make sure we also have some healthy options on hand too to balance it out a little bit. One thing I almost always make when we go camping or to a cottage is a tofu scramble bake. I often start with potatoes just to make it more satiating or satisfying, and I'll throw in some onions. This time I used green onions, but any onions will do. Then I added some seasoning like salt and pepper, paprika, cumin, turmeric, red chili flakes, and kala namak, which is black salt, which has that kind of sulfur taste and smell, so it makes it kind of eggy, that eggy kind of taste. You can use whatever seasonings you love, of course, but these are the ones that I usually will add. Once the potatoes are kind of browned a little bit, I will usually add some water to help get them tender, and I will also add some fresh garlic. I will add mushrooms a lot of the time, and for fun, this isn't the healthiest, but for fun, I will also add some kind of breakfast sausage. So this time I used Gardein breakfast sausage patty things, and I just tore them up into little pieces and threw that into the pan. If we have pesto that's already open in the fridge, I will often add that to a tofu scramble also. And I had some sun-dried tomato pesto in the fridge, so I added that also for flavor, as well as some nutritional yeast and a bit of soy sauce and some green peppers. Once the peppers started to become a bit tender, I added some extra firm tofu. I'll keep adding a little bit of water just to make sure that the spices are well integrated and not clumping up. Usually, if we have some on hand, I will add a bit of soft tofu. Not tons, but just a little bit to give it a softer mouthfeel, I guess. And then I just cook that until everything is a nice tender but not mushy texture and is full of flavor. For camping, I'll put the tofu scramble in little aluminum pans, and I will freeze them actually so that they go in the cooler and help keep everything cold. And then when you're at the campsite and ready to eat it, you're really just warming it up because it's already cooked. So it's ready to go as soon as it's nice and hot. Another thing that I often do when we're going camping or to the cottage is pre-mix some ingredients to make pancakes with. And that's really simple. It's just some flour, the littlest bit of sugar, some baking soda, and baking powder. And then when I am ready to make the pancakes, I will mix that with some plant milk and probably about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is a great thing to pack also, especially if you're going to be eating some foods that you're not used to eating, like maybe more processed stuff like the veggie dogs and chips and things like that, because just a little bit of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water will really calm an upset tummy, especially if you're feeling gassy or bloated or, that kind of stuff. This trip I also made breakfast muffins, and they were an applesauce banana carrot muffin, so they're packed with all kinds of good stuff. And I also froze those to help keep the freezer cool. And when they thawed, they actually tasted amazing. Often when you freeze things, they don't quite taste the same when you thaw them out, but these were still really good. I sprinkled a bit of granola on the top just to be cute and make it clear that they were breakfast muffins. You don't have to do that. But it was really good, and it added a little bit of crunch to the top. For any of you who listened to last week's video, you heard me talking about how surprised I was by the resistance that I felt to being alone in the lake or the solitude. As much as I loved it and as much as I crave that feeling all of the time, when I actually finally had that moment, I felt myself pushing back a little bit, and it really took me by surprise. I won't retell the story, but I will just say that I've been really making an effort to practice since then, and it's just been amazing. Just having these moments where you're truly present and truly alone has been just really, really life-changing. I'm not exaggerating. My perspective has been shifting so much about my priorities and about what I need, what I really, really need, and what I want to be doing. And it feels incredible. I pre-made a couple of desserts also, and one of them was just a berry and plum crumble, and I mixed equal parts flour, oats, brown sugar, and butter, and I cut the butter into the dry ingredients until it was crumbly, and then I just put that on top of each little dish of fruit. You can do this with any fruit, really, or berries, but I found that I put too many cherries in mine and they were way too sweet. They were fun, but just too sweet. And the other thing I made, which I've actually made a few different recipes for because it's making me crazy, I haven't found the perfect version yet, was graham crackers, because I wanted vegan graham crackers for the s'mores. And the recipe that I used had whole wheat flour, all-purpose flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and cinnamon. I found a recipe from a baker online. I also veganized Martha Stewart's recipe. I have not found the perfect balance yet to make it dry enough to be a cracker, but not so dry that it feels like you're eating cardboard or sawdust. The flavors were good, but the texture I haven't mastered yet. Some of them called for eggs, some of them didn't, some called for milk, some of them didn't. I'll post the recipe that worked the best for me on sweetvegan.net in the next day or two, but I'm still not 100% satisfied. They were good. We still made the s'mores with them, but I have a feeling there'll be more experimenting going on. Maybe I'll have perfected them by next summer's camping. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. It means a tremendous amount to me. I know I tell you that every single time, but I mean it from the bottom of my heart. And if you are a Patreon subscriber, as usual, I just don't even have the words to thank you enough for being a part of this journey of mine, for contributing to it and helping to make this channel possible. I thank you, and I thank you. And if you are someone who would like to work one-on-one with me for nutrition or naturopathy, there is a booking link in the description below. I will be back very, very soon, and in the meantime, take really good care of yourselves.